US President Donald Trump has publicly defended Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino amidst a backlash from within his MAGA movement. Some of his MAGA supporters are deeply concerned about the handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files. The controversy stems from the Department of Justice, which put out a recent announcement that it would not release additional documents related to the Epstein investigation. It also said that there was no evidence of any so-called Epstein client list, neither did they find any foul play in Epstein's death. This has angered some of Trump's supporters who believe that the administration is concealing information, that they're not being fully transparent about the Epstein investigation. Trump's defense of Pam Bondi in particular comes after she reportedly clashed with Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, who's the FBI director. There have been many people who are calling for her resignation. Some far-right figures have accused her of overpromising and under-delivering on the Epstein files.
Dan Bongino, very good guy. I've known him a long time. I've done his show many, many times. And he sounded terrific, actually. No, I think he's in good shape.
Trump's public statements of support suggest that he's attempting to quell this internal dissent within his base, and he wants to maintain unity, saying that the MAGA base now needs to be more focused on what the Biden administration did, what the Democrats are doing, and instead take away its attention from the Epstein files.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
The split within MAGA over the Epstein files highlights a divergence, one on the expectations and the actual reality of what the Trump administration had promised and what is now able to deliver to its most fervent supporters, particularly regarding all of these long-held conspiracy theories about a potential cover-up surrounding the Epstein activities, and most importantly, what happened to Epstein in jail, where he reportedly died by suicide. Now, for months, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi had been promising the release of these documents on the disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. She said this could be damaging. She drummed up anticipation over the files. It's long been a source of speculation and conspiracy theories among the MAGA folks. But last week, this memo that was put out by the Justice Department undercut Pam Bondi's statements. It basically poured cold water on some of her baseless claims. It amounted to reaching a conclusion which many years ago investigators had arrived at. The crux of that conclusion is Jeffrey Epstein killed himself while he was in a Manhattan cell awaiting trial. This is what the memo said, and I quote, "The systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties." Unquote. In the 6 years since his death in 2019, the case of Jeffrey Epstein has become a public obsession for a segment of Trump's MAGA supporters. Some of them have accused two of Trump's most senior advisors, Pam Bondi, who's the Attorney General, and the FBI Director Kash Patel, along with his deputy, Dan Bongino, of slow-walking the review of the Epstein files and the release of the Epstein case. A release of related documents back in February, which again Pam Bondi had hyped up, fell flat. It drew widespread criticism. Much of the information in that phase one of those files release was information that was already out in the public domain. While many had been awaiting what Bondi herself called phase two of the release of the Epstein files, this new memo by the Justice Department basically ended any expectations. It included an hour-long video whose existence previously was disclosed on the hallway just outside Jeffrey Epstein's jail cell. That's where he's alleged to have hanged himself to death. But there's a problem with that video. That video does not show much.
We released the video showing definitively, the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night.
The video released by Bondi and Patel appears to have one missing minute just before midnight. The digital clock on that video, on that screen, it jumps from 11:58 p.m. to 12 midnight. There was no immediate clarity or any authentic clarification or explanation for why an entire minute was missing in that CCTV footage. The memo goes on to chide those who have pushed their own conspiracy theories of what all crimes may have gone unpunished in the Epstein parties. Jeffrey Epstein was accused of paying young, underage girls for sexual acts, often under the guise of getting a massage. Asked about the seeming contradiction at a news conference last week, the White House spokeswoman, Carolyn Leavitt, strongly defended Pam Bondi, and she said that Pam Bondi was referring to the entirety of the Epstein file, not particularly Phase 1 or Phase 2. As you would expect, she got pilloried by reporters.
Okay, so the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network, on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that.
Even before its official release, the Trump administration had faced criticism for its handling of the Epstein issue. In fact, Trump's once first buddy, Elon Musk, the billionaire, posted disapprovingly on social media that no one had been arrested in the Epstein case. Well, it's not just Elon. Other right-wing powerful media personalities like Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly and Charlie Kirk have been upset and angry at Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and at Dan Bongino for what they call screwing up the Epstein probe. This has split MAGA in a major way. Not even immigration or attacking Iran has seen such a split in the Trump universe. Last month, as Elon Musk engaged in a vicious public feud with President Trump, the world's richest man suggested that the real reason why the Epstein files had not been released was because Donald Trump's name figured in it. Later, he retracted from that statement and he went on to apologize to Trump, saying some of the things that he said went too far. Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein had crossed paths over a number of years. Both of them were regular fixtures on the wealthy New York social circle and party circuit in New York back in the 80s and 90s. In fact, in an early 2000s interview with the New York Magazine, Trump at that time had said he had known Epstein for 15 years. He called Epstein a terrific guy who has a lot of fun to be with. Now his top investigators and his top prosecutors are having to defend a man who Trump's base thinks is guilty as charged, and more importantly, they think Trump and his administration are going overboard trying to protect the powerful names in the Epstein files.